What I was thinking about this is in the winter, it's good to just have this on periodically, because it's going to be warming up that battery, which means you'll get better efficiency in your car as well. So it's very good. If you use the routing system, then you don't need to put that on, because the car will automatically start preheating the battery for the charging. Excuse me, for the charging stop where you're going. Okay. Right, morning guys, it's Sean here, back with another video here on Talk Up TV. One of the good things about the Skoda, which probably should be on every electric car really, is not just keyless entry, but everything opens up as you approach the car, and then when you step into the car, it's basically ready to go. It's foot on the brake. Just turn that down, otherwise it's just foot on the brake and you're ready to go. And that's really the way every single let me just put this, my wife was in this car, so I'm reversed back a bit there. Everything is just so simple in that regard, and that's the way every electric car should be. There should be no stop start buttons or all this kind of stuff. You should just be able to, and then when you exit the vehicle, it all locks up as well, within a certain time limit. If you're hanging around in the car, so if you open the door and you're faffing around, you take long to get out, then it will actually take a while to actually do that. So that's one issue. That's one thing I will say about that. Anyway, what was I going to say? Today I wanted to show you that actually, yeah, so today I just want to show you some of the infotainment system here on this car. I have done kind of like a brief what's the word? I've done a brief kind of overview of it type of thing, so that's in there. I just wanted to take you around this whole screen and show you one or two really quite special things about this car as well, which I thought would be really good to actually point out. And some things which probably should be in everything. This is on the 5.4 software. Now, not so much Skoda itself as a company, but Volkswagen as a group, as you probably know, came under a lot of criticism for their software, basically, effectively. When the cars first came out, it was virtually unusable. I went to take a test drive out for an ID3, which I was thinking about getting, and the infotainment system just crashed on me. So I said, I can't take a car like that, because obviously everything works through the infotainment systems on the Volkswagen Group cars. Just wasn't fit for purpose. But they've taken that criticism on board, and they've been sort of slowly improving them as they go along, until we get to this one here, which is the 5.4, which I think is absolutely brilliant. It's snappy, doesn't let you down. It's never ever given me any issues at all, effectively. It's just a good basic system to use. The screen is plenty big enough. It's a 12-inch screen in here. That's more than enough, really. And it's just a really good system. So and this comes in all the Skoda Enyaqs, I think. Yep, you get this size screen in all of them, so no differences there. So when you get in and you connect it up, this is the main sort of screen. This could have different tiles on this, because you can set this up how you want it. So I've got my infotainment system stuff over there, things like radio and all of that. My charging percentages there, and my sort of shortcuts to make calls is there. And then of course my mapping system there. So that's what it is. That's the main system. Then up here in the top, you've got your user profile, so you can set up at least 2 profiles, because I know there's 2 profiles in here. So there's at least 2 profiles you can set up in there, probably more. And they will actually do things like your setup. So what radio station you have on generally, that kind of thing, your layout and all the rest of it will all go under your profile, including your memory seat positions as well in the car. Because you've got because in this car you've got memory seats. So with the memory seats, you can actually lock in your position. So if my wife gets into this car, she just puts her profile in, and the seats move into her position, and vice versa. Same for me. That's quite a nice, handy thing to have there. You've obviously got your Bluetooth, your phone connection there, your mute button there, the time, and then you've got modes here. So this will bring up. You can configure this how you want. So I generally keep this in normal most of the time. You can set up an individual one where you can adjust it to have it how you like it. So that's not bad, and that type of thing. So that's pretty good. That's all in what they call mode. But you can actually configure these how you want them. Up here. This one is your themes, your color schemes inside the car. So for your ambient lighting that runs around the car, which you can't really see this time of the day, but in the evening you'll see it all light up over here, and you can have different colors for down below, and different colors that go around the actual car, front and back. So you can set that up how you want. You can individually set that up. And that one's brightness, so that gives you the brightness of it. Okay. So you can actually have that one. I don't know if can you actually do each individual one. Not too sure about that, but it's on full brightness actually. So this one here is your lane keep, which I have up here. So you can put different things up here, which we'll go into a bit later. But essentially, with this one, this obviously is your lane keep assist thing. So I like to have that off. So as soon as I get in the car, if I remember, I just click on there, press that, and that counts as it off. So that's no more keeping you in the lane thing. But you can have it for road sign recognition, all those sorts of things. You've got your auto hold here, which I always leave on, of course. So when you come to a stop, if you're using your regenerative brake and you're pulling up, you're coming to a stop, you put your foot on the brake. What I've noticed with this particular car, like on my other car, I just have to hold it on the brake, and then when it comes to a stop, it just locks it in place. With this one, you need to give it just a couple of taps on the brake to make the brake hold come up, which will come up, and it's not in drive at the moment, but if it was, it would come up there, brake hold. So it'll light up in green when it's holding. Yeah, so just always double check that, because if you pull up to a set of lights and you forget about that, and you haven't engaged it properly, then obviously as you go to take your foot off the brake thinking it's on, the car will roll forward. So always check with the screen here that the actual brake hold is on. That's what I've been doing. So that's what I've noticed with that. And then this one is obviously for all the things. I mean, I've chosen to have, so you can come in here and switch things off that you don't want. So before you set off, if you think about it, so that one's gone off because I got that one as my preset. But if I didn't want my attention monitor thing on, that's off actually. Drowsiness monitor, you can turn that off. Most of these things like front brake assist, I'd leave that on. It's quite an important one anyway, isn't it, really? Side collision assistance, all those sort of minor ones. It doesn't beep a lot, so that's what I would do for that. So you've got a list view there, but you can have it where it shows it around the car, the different things, So it just depends on what you want on that one. List view is probably a bit easier to get to quicker. You can just scroll up and down and do the various things. And then up here, you've got this button here, which is vehicle settings. So when you come into here, you've got all your various screens here to go through. So for vehicle settings, exterior, so it's things like your tires, your comfort lights, your headlights, mirrors, all this kind of thing. So like when you click on them, you can do different things. Lower in reverse gear, so leave that on. Folding when locking, obviously leave that on. Synchronized adjustment, so it'll adjust on its own in various ways. Headlights, Got those different things there. I keep it on low sensor sensitivity on that one. You got daytime dynamic lights. You got your dynamic cornering light. The lights are very good at this. We're going to do a thing on the travel mode during driving on the right. Okay. Status. So it just tells you all that stuff. And then you've got data here. So you've got your so I'm currently, last journey I've just done 6 miles. I've got 3.8 miles per kilowatt, and travelled 6 miles. So so that was it. So that was okay. Okay, so you can look up here for your long term. So let's go from the long term. So since I've had the car, so I'm averaging 4.2 miles per kilowatt, which is pretty decent. We've done 4,194 miles in this car since we had it, since May, and you got 1.7 kilowatt hours per hour. Now in my car, it's showing around about, it roughly shows around about 29 to 30, sometimes 20, 27 or 28. So that's the difference in my car. The efficiency is way down on this one. Long time direct counseling will be reset, and we don't reset that. So that's it. So that's just a little simple thing of that side of things. So if we come out of there now, so go back to here, go back into vehicle, and you got your charging. Now this is what I wanted to show you here. You can't see it right now because it's not started up. But you can optimize the car. So if you see here, it says start battery heating. So say you're out on the road. At the moment, I would only get 42 kilowatts. Okay, I'm at a fairly high state of charge, but I would only get 42 kilowatts. By putting that on, that'll probably knock it up to 60 or 70 kilowatts that I'll be receiving. So it says here possibly needs 30 minutes to heat up the battery. But what I was thinking about this is in the winter, it's good to just have this on periodically, because it's going to be warming up that battery, which means you'll get better efficiency in your car as well. So it's very good. If you use the routing system, then you don't need to put that on, because the car will automatically start preheating the battery for the charging. Excuse me, for the charging stop where you're going. Okay, so that's what it'll do. And this add location thing is just for like 5 local stations that are near you, which I just got one that I use, so I don't bother. But you can set up to 5 and save them. So if you're working somewhere, you could set that up, and all the rest of it. So it just part of the navigation there, really. Battery care mode is always on. Electric vehicle route planner is very important to leave that on. That's when you're going to when you're navigating somewhere, that will route you. That will actually be part of the plan on the. So say you're going from here to Scotland or something, from where I live now to Scotland. Obviously I'll need to have a charging stop somewhere. So it will put that into the system, and it will also preheat the battery before getting there. This doesn't have a heat pump. I personally am not as enthusiastic about heat pumps as other people, if I'm really honest about it. So I'm not that obsessed with that, really. A lot of people are. They say it's really important in the UK, cold weather and everything. I just don't really know that. I think the battery management system, where you can heat the batteries enough, is just going to heat up the battery, whatever. So I don't see the heat pump. I don't know what it really does, if I'm really, really honest. I don't know. I've got a heat pump on my other car. It doesn't seem to make any difference, if I'm really, really honest. So, that's all your driver assistance stuff. Okay, so your lane keeps and all that. We've been over that. What else we got there? Parking assist. So that's your cameras. Just gives you the overview of all of your cameras. It's not a bad camera on this, but I've seen better. I think it's better on my car, on the BYD, than this one, if I'm really honest. But it does its job. And you can upgrade on the packages, and you can have front cameras. This just has a rear camera, and a bit more facilities on that one. You can also self-park, I think, on the other one as well. So that's that one. Driving profile, we've been into that as well, so we've already done that. stationary air conditioning. So that's our temperature that we're using at the moment. In terms of, I'm just the one getting the aircon at the moment. By the way, this does divide the aircon. So if there's only one person in it, all the air will come to that specific point and cut off air to the rest of the car. So it just saves a little bit of there. Got automatic window heating there, so you can have that on if you're, like when you're in the mornings and things like that, if it's cold weather. And then just your background lighting, which we went over before. So that's how all that one works. But of course, when we come to this one, we can actually come down to here and we've got a load more settings. So you've obviously got Laura, which is the voice assistant. So you can get suggestions on how to use this, and you can go in and change some settings on that. That's the users. So how many users you got, you just use that. Sound, that's to balance up your sound and everything like that. Oops, it's the wrong one there. Then you got your settings one here, so you can set the screen, backgrounds, that type of thing. So you can have all different backgrounds. So let's go for a different background. Just go for that one, just as something a bit different. That's your backgrounds. Connection, that's your Wi-Fi, mobile devices, information. So you've got system information there, which is just all nerdy data. Configuration wizard. In actual fact, you can this is where you can configure certain things in the car, but you can do that you can do that when you set up your profile, really. So you don't really need to do too much to that one. Tips and help there is all there. You got your display settings, your display overview. So in other words, this is your, where you'll be displaying. You've got your manual here as well. So that will come up and bring up your manual. So if you want to find out something about the car which you haven't found out about yet, you can probably find it in here without having to sort of, go into forums and all the rest of it to find out what's happening on that. And then if we come back over here again, you've got your system information on your software. You need to look at this every so often because there should come up some sort of something over here will come up, I think, if there's going to be any change to it. So, but that's the one we're on, which is the best one at the moment. Everyone is sort of quite praising it, really. The 5.4. Now, the Powerpass is a. Did I go into that properly? Your Powerpass is where you can join up with Skoda, and you can join up to connect with Ionity, and you can have plug-in charge. So you pay a certain amount a month. So if you don't have a home charger, as I don't, but I have my own Pacific ones that I use nearby, you can go onto certain plans. Now, the thing I'll say about this is that it's probably worth doing, possibly, if you're doing loads and loads of miles. So if you're work for a living and you're doing a lot of driving, then this plan could work for you, because I think it is a bit cheaper than just sort of like going up to an Ionity and plugging in. There's plenty of Ionities around. It has its own mapping system as well, so you can get mapped into the places. So it's just a way of basically giving you another option on your charging, save a little bit of money if you're doing enough driving around to actually warrant to get the best out of that. Okay, so and then you just got that, and then you just got the shop here, which I think I need the master profile for anyway. Yeah, so we can't really show you that. The other thing I wanted to show you was on this side of things, on the entertainment system. It's quite good, really, because you've got source here, so you can go to whatever you want. Okay, so it's on Android Auto at the moment, but I can go on internet radio, and then it will bring up the radio stations. But also, if you click on radio here, I turn that down. You go to media here, you can go onto here and you can choose from something that's a bit different to my car, because I've got just the general generic stations. But on this one, you've got internet stations as well. They tend to work quite well. So you can go into here on genre as example. So if you're someone that likes predominantly, say, 90s music, you can click on that and you can get that. Or if you want Pacific to really narrow down in, and you like, say, I don't know, blues. Say blues is your thing, your bag. You can go on here and you've got loads and loads of stations, all just to sort of do with blues music, really, all different types. And most of them don't have adverts, quite a lot of them, because they're internet radio stations. And most of them don't have actually have a lot of adverts on them. So I was on one the other day and I didn't have a single thing on there. I just thought I'd show you that as well, because that's not in every car. You don't get that sort of breakdown, and I think that's quite a handy thing. But you've also got your top 100, so that will have more of your more commonly used sort of stations: London LBC, Classic FM, London, all those Talk Sports, all that kind of thing, Talk Radio. The common ones that I've actually got on my car, they'll be on here, but just a bit more of an extension. And then of course you can go over to here, you go onto Android Auto in my case, or Apple CarPlay if that's what you've got, etc, etc. So it's not a bad setup, that one. So that's it, guys. That was just a quick video, just a quick glancing run through of the basic functions of this. We didn't go down the bottom ones, but basically if there's no one in this seat, this will just adopt to eco, which basically means it's not really on. So all the air that's coming into the car is being circulated to myself at the moment at 23 degrees, because there's no one else in the car. So it's just a way of conserving a bit more energy, really, like that. So that's quite good. You've got your heated seats there, so you can put those on. So that's that one. And then you've got your Android Auto there. You've obviously got your mapping system there, so you can just click that to bring up the full maps, or you can press that and it goes back to this screen. That's obviously a music one, which will then take you to where we were before, over there. And then you got that one there. So that's basically all the setup that you need, really. So it works really well. It's a pretty good system, I think, now. And so, I mean, after a bad start, well done to VW for getting the software right now. And this is pretty intuitive. I just saw a video with an ID4 in America doing a long, kind of almost race road trip using the 5.4 system in an ID4 over there. And it was flawless. It was taking the cars into, it took the car into the charger at like 0%, one or 0%, and it was bang on every time. You know, it seems to know just how much juice you've got left in the car, right down to the last sort of bits and pieces, right down to the last bit. So they need a lot of commendation for that, for me, from them, because I say my opinion of them in sort of 2020, 21, that kind of time, when the ID3s were coming out, software was absolutely awful, and people were avoiding taking these cars at that stage. They've come a long way from that. They obviously had to sort it out, so they, I think, effectively sacked their software team and then, you know, went from there. Just down here, if I've not shown you this before, I probably have. I've not done too many things on these. So you've got your travel assist over there. You've got your modes there as well. So these are the sort of shortcut buttons. You got your park button there. And then over here, park button, what does that do? That probably just brings up your, it just brings up your camera, really. So if you're going into a parking space and it hasn't come up, you can get there. You've got your hazard lights, your auto unlock and lock, climate control there, so you can press that up and at least brings up the climate control, and then you can adjust it quickly if you're on the drive. And then you've got your maximum thingy there, defrost there, and that one's your rear demister as well. You've got those two over there. Just a quick thing there. You're obviously your air cons there, and that's that. So that's it. But yeah, it's been running really well, this car, guys. I think you know about that. I'd recently done a trip to Bournemouth, which I updated you all on, and it's just a great car, really. I mean, it is a super car. If you want a good family sized car, I always recommend going and have a look at these Skodas. They're good. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one, guys. So just wanted to quickly trip through all of that. So hope you enjoyed this one. Catch you on the next one.